What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast. This is Abe, your host. So, a little bit of channel updates. It is episode 428, I believe. So, go check out the library, dude. There's 427 episodes to choose from. Today is May 24th, 2025. I am off today. So just chilling at the house. I got a business call later with Zach. We're still figuring out the podcast stuff. I had some shit going on. Hang on just a second. Technical difficulties. I had some personal shit going on that I ain't gonna lie, dude. Dealing with some legal shit. I didn't even know if I'd be here right now. Due to just craziness. I can't go into it. But I'm still here, so I'm gonna keep podcasting, you know. First of all, the business call, we're still trying to figure out a name, figure shit out, like what we're gonna do. We're gonna go on with the podcast, just me and Zach. We're gonna brainstorm today, and on a name and how often we're gonna do it and all that jazz. Buy me a coffee. I finally, after all these years of hearing about it, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a procrastinator. You guys know me. I put out a podcast like every day, and you know I'm not doing this for the money. I actually genuinely enjoy doing this. I finally set up a Buy Me a Coffee. So if you choose to donate, it helps out the channel because it helps with equipment, you know, laptops, flash drives, little shit like that. Pen and paper for my notes. And hey, you can buy me a cheeseburger, you know. It's literally called buymeacoffee.com. If you have $1 to spare and you want to support the channel, it's going to be in my links of my YouTube, my Rumble, and my Spotify. So whatever you're listening on, you know, go to the channel page, homepage for info, and you can find it there, and you can donate if you want to. Thank you all. So, now that we got that out of the way, 2 or 3 episodes ago, we covered Ed and Lorraine Warren once again. We have covered them before on this channel. There's actually, so far we've done 3 episodes on Ed and Lorraine Warren. We did an episode, 2 episodes ago, we did an episode on a new Conjuring movie coming out. We did an episode of an interview with Ed and Lorraine that had some crazy stuff they were talking about. So go check it out. I think it's called Ed and Lorraine Interview. And honestly, if you're watching on YouTube, I think I'm going to go through and start a playlist of just Ed and Lorraine episodes. That way, you can go to click on playlist, because there's going to be 4 episodes now on Ed and Lorraine. And that way, you can listen to all 4 if you want. And we did a Conspiracy Cinema episode, which is a little side series me and my wife have, where we watch conspiracy movies and then we review them together and talk conspiracies. And we did a movie review. It was a double feature of Conjuring 1 and 2. So one day we're going to watch Conjuring 3 and review it for Conspiracy Cinema. And we'll do a review on it. So, what are we getting into today? If you listened to the episode, the last episode we did on the Warrens, I mentioned a little bit of the dark side, that there is a darkness to the Warrens. And today we're going to get into that. They're not exactly like they were portrayed in the movies. Now, give me just a second. So, first of all, disclaimer. You guys know me. I'm very level-headed. I even had someone hit me up in the comments a while back, and they were like, dude, I love your channel because you're a conspiracy theorist, but you're not like most conspiracy theorists. I honestly, I would say like Sam Tripoli's my mentor, you know. And he's very level-headed, you know. I use Occam's razor. I don't automatically just say everyone's a pedophile, murderer, Illuminati. I feel like a lot of these channels, man, are very negative and just everyone's evil, they're all evil. And I'm like, Keanu Reeves, he's evil, you know. Everyone's a Satanist, you know. Or like or they say every channel is like what is it, like a shill, or I forget what they call them, controlled opposition. Yeah, this guy's controlled opposition. I don't go in here guns a slinging. Sometimes, once in a blue moon, I do if I think a channel's a dick. Like I've went off about Russian vids. I think he's an asshole. Truth Seeker, I think he's an asshole. That's the only two people I've ever really been like, yeah, fuck that guy, you know. So these are all allegations, and I personally love the Conjuring movies, and I look at it as like that, like it's a Hollywood depiction of quote unquote true events. I've said this before, I personally am 50-50 on Ed and Lorraine as far as like the paranormal, that half of it could be fake. I think that they actually did have real experiences and shit, and then started getting the money from the book deals and lectures and shit, and kind of were like, yeah, you know, like the money got to their heads, so they possibly started hoaxing shit. That's my opinion. So don't let this ruin something for you. Like, I've heard that throughout the years of like, oh, I can't watch Tom Hanks movies anymore because Tom Hanks is a creep. You know, don't let it ruin it. Separate the art from the artist. Be an adult about this. These are all allegations. I still watch The Conjuring even after hearing about all this. And honestly, if Ed and Lorraine Warren were alive today, I would meet them. Doesn't mean I'm their best friend. I just would be curious to meet them, you know? But, all right. So let's get into it. The disturbing allegations of Ed and Lorraine Warren's abuse and the evidence behind them. Ed and Lorraine Warren were famous paranormal investigators, demonologists, and a seemingly happy married couple. Were they also abusers? So, Ed and Lorraine Warren likely need no introduction. The two paranormal investigators have been permanently embedded into the pop culture zeitgeist, thanks to the success of the Conjuring franchise. The Warrens spent decades crafting a public image of themselves as a wholesome Christian couple battling the devil and his demons. But that image was called into question in 2017 when it was revealed that a woman named Judith Penney, or Penney, it's Penney. Isn't that a Mandela effect? Dun dun dun. Illuminati confirmed. Sorry. Accused Ed and Lorraine Warren of abuse in 2014. I'm just going to call her Penny, okay? Penny, who was in her 70s when she came forward, claimed that she had lived in the Warrens' Connecticut home for about 4 decades, during which she was in a sexual relationship with Ed, which began when Penny was just 15 years old. When Ed first met Penny, he was already in his mid-30s. So, pedophilia. Now, where was Lorraine? Was she cool with it? Most wives wouldn't be cool with that, you know. According to Penny, Lorraine was fully aware of this relationship. Penny also claimed that she eventually became pregnant with Ed's child in May 1978. Hang on. So, she got pregnant. Stupid dog out there, dude. I'm sorry, y'all. After which, Lorraine allegedly convinced her to have an abortion and to tell people that she had been raped by a home invader. So, allegedly, the girl Penny was in a pedophilic relationship with Ed and became pregnant. Lorraine convinced her to have an abortion and to tell people that she had been raped by a home invader. So, and I'm not gonna lie, I was talking to my wife, dude. I was like, dude, the actress who plays Lorraine, like, is beautiful. She's an older lady. She's a MILF. I'm 33, so I understand getting attracted to older people now. If you would have talked to me 10 years ago, I would have been like, ew. Now that I'm getting older, it's like, oh, I understand fine wine. And abortion, dude. I had a buddy, man, who you guys know me. I'm pro-abortion. When it comes to like rape or incest, but to like force someone to do that is that's disgusting. And two, like, it does have an effect on you. And even as someone who is pro-abortion, I do make sure that if I have a close friend who's like, hey, I'm thinking about getting an abortion, I do tell them, just being straight up, homie, this might fuck your head up and your girl's head up. My stepbrother, he had an abortion. Well, his girl had an abortion, and it ruined their relationship. A buddy of mine, he had an abortion, and it fucked him up in the head. To this day, like, he drinks all the time and has bad depression because he feels like a baby killer, a murderer. He questions if he can go to heaven because he believes in all the Abrahamic bullshit. Yeah, it's fucked up shit, Both the Warrens are dead now, but the film franchise based on their paranormal experiences certainly is not. Ed and Lorraine Warren are paraded as heroes of the war against Satan, supposedly because of their devout faith and pure hearts. Oh, that's what I was going to say, though. The actress that played Lorraine, beautiful actress, but if you actually look at a picture of Lorraine looked kind of evil, dude. Ed just kind of looks like a goofball. He's like a chubby guy. He's like, hee hee, Lorraine actually genuinely looks evil. I ain't gonna lie, dude. She kind of gives me like charlatan vibes too, of like paranormal charlatan, like psychic vibes, like real woo woo, Oh, I sense something in your future, But Penney's allegations of abuse paint a very different picture of Ed and Lorraine Warren, one that isn't quite so righteous. Who were Ed and Lorraine Warren? If you are not familiar, I'm not getting into that. Hang on. Well, let's just read it. If you're not familiar, Ed and Lorraine Warren were a husband and wife duo of paranormal investigators who first came to fame in the 1970s. The self-proclaimed demonologists recorded detailed, extensive accounts of their investigations, which they published and sold. They also opened a museum of reportedly haunted objects in Connecticut, including the real-life Annabelle doll that features the Conjuring spinoff Annabelle. By the way, as far as I know, that museum, which me and my wife plan on going to one day before we're dead, is still open. It's run by the son-in-law and the girl from The Conjuring, his wife. He married in. So, apparently it's still running to this day. I know that they actually go on tour with Annabelle. As weird as that sounds and as funny as that sounds saying that, they go on tour with Annabelle. They bring her around to different places and you can buy tickets and go see Annabelle. I think it'd be fun. But that's just what I'm into, Among the Warrens' most famous or infamous cases were, of course, the Perron family haunting, which is The Conjuring, Enfield haunting, which is The Conjuring 2, and The Devil Made Me Do It. Hang on. Alright, sorry about that. Devil Made Me Do It, which is the third one. It's based off a real case. They're all based off real cases. In which the Warrens argued that a 19-year-old Arnie Cheyenne Johnson was compelled by the devil to brutally murder his landlord in 1981. It's a crazy case. All three of those movies are fucking dope. I'm just gonna say it. I don't care. Uh, in this latter instance, the real-life events that inspired the movie marked a major moment for the Warrens, as they were actually present in the courtroom arguing for behalf Johnson's defense. At the time, some people considered the Warrens to be quite credible, though others viewed them as con artists in either case. The jury was put in a difficult position. Could demonic possession really be used as a defense in the court of law? And as far as I know, that was the first time it was used. And it actually got used with Ronald DeFeo, and I think they kind of did the same thing with Amityville. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we'll have to do a deep dive on that shit, man. We need to do a deep dive on Amityville and Ronnie DeFeo. I need to look back into it, but I'm pretty sure it was like some hoax shit. The whole Amityville horror, and ain't it crazy how there's all these hoaxes surrounded by, Ed and Lorraine? Just saying, the infield one, we'll do a whole deep dive on that, dude. Like, we could do a whole series on this shit. The infield one, I'm very skeptical of. The Perrin one, not so much. I believe that one, there was something to the Perrin one, but the infield one, I don't know. If you look at those photos of the girl floating in the air, it literally looks like she just jumped off the bed and they took a picture. Johnson was ultimately sentenced to 10 to 20 years for first-degree manslaughter, so the answer, it seemed, was no. Which they were partying and drunk, and they show that in the movie, so they did depict it correctly. It could have been just like a drunken fight, The dude pulled a knife, man. Still, the Warrens continued to conduct their investigations and promote their past stories, including their infamous investigation of Amityville Horror House, a Long Island home rumored to be haunted after Ronnie DeFeo Jr. brutally murdered his parents and siblings there in 1974. It's now widely to be believed that the house was never haunted, and many have accused George Lutz, the homeowner who moved into the house after the DeFeo murders, of making the whole story up, which there is actually leaked audio of that. We'll have to do a deep dive, and maybe we'll do a listen along with it. It's like a whole hour long of just not Ronnie DeFeo, but George Lutz and his wife, and I think it was like a lawyer or a writer, and they're all just drinking wine. And why it was recorded, I have no fucking clue, but I can't remember the whole backstory on it. We'll have to do a deep dive. That's why I love doing this channel. Every time I do an episode, 5 more episode ideas come out, Despite the ongoing skepticism surrounding some of their cases, the Warrens continued their work in paranormal investigation up through the early 2000s, though by then they had slowed down somewhat. Their names re-entered the public sphere in 2013. However, when Warner Brothers released James Wan's The Conjuring to immediate unprecedented success, the film cost $20 million to make and netted in $320 million. I remember watching that movie. It was I watched it in theaters, and it was the first movie that I had watched that it wasn't the first one to fuck me up. Exorcist fucked me up. Sleepy Hollow fucked me up when I was a kid, that witch scene. But this, Paranormal Activity, I was younger. I was in high school. Me and my girl watched The Conjuring in theaters. I think with my mom and little brother, dude. And I legit was scared. Me and her both were dude, I'm scared to go to sleep tonight. Luckily she was staying the night, But it's dude, I'm scared. You're gonna have to wake up and go to the bathroom with me and shit. And I'm I'm cool. You're gonna have to do the same. That movie's so fucking good. I could see why it blew up. And the studio knew it had just created a cash cow. Though the first film mostly focuses on the Perrin family, the Warrens play key roles in the movie as well. And in the second film, they are even more central, despite the Warrens not being as heavily involved in the infield haunting case in real life. kind of like the Amityville too. That's why they're never showed in the Amityville films, which I'm a huge fan of that movie franchise too. Um, we'll have to do conspiracy cinema episodes on those. Um, they really didn't play that big of a part in Amityville. I would still like to see maybe they'll do it in the HBO docu series they're doing, or drama series, whatever. Maybe they'll do an Amityville episode. That would be kind of cool, because I am stoked to see that. Go check out the last Warren episode if you want to know more about that. I'd talk about it a little bit. But the third Conjuring film is especially important to bring up here, because that's why we were getting into all that backstory. Although the film focuses on the trial of Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, it also tells another story about Ed and Lorraine Warren's enduring romance, and a strong theme about how the couple's love helped them overcome evil. Of course, the film takes a lot of creative liberties, as does most of Hollywood. We all know that. But it does help to push the image of the Warrens as a wholesome, loving Christian couple. It certainly leaves out any details about Ed sleeping with an underage girl, a shocking allegation that was later levied against them by Judith Penney. Judith Penney's abuse allegations against Ed and Lorraine Warren. In 2017, The Hollywood Reporter received legal filings and recordings that allegedly revealed a horrifying truth about the Warrens amidst a sprawling legal battle over the billion-dollar Conjuring franchise. I would love to hear those recordings. I don't know about you, but interesting. By this point, Ed Warren had already died in 2006, and Lorraine Warren would soon die in 2019. So, I don't know, that kind of makes me wonder the whole lovebird theory. I don't know if you've ever heard that. Here's a picture of Lorraine. Yeah, that gives me the whole, ooh, vibes, the woo-woo, sidekick that I was talking about earlier. Oh, I see your past life, There's a whole lovebird theory. Like, it happened with John and June Cash. And I truly believe it. Like, if your soul, and they call it the lovebird theory because lovebirds, that's why they're called lovebirds, that they stay together, they're like mates for life, and when one dies, the other one dies right after. That's what happened with John and June Cash. She didn't die right after. Like, if my wife died, I'd probably die the next 2 years, It's my day off. I'd probably drink myself to death. Cheers. Generally, the abuse allegations levied against the Warrens by Penney assert several shocking things. One, that Ed Warren, in his mid-30s, knowingly entered into a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old Penney, who Lorraine's full knowledge. Two, that Penney lived in the couple's home for about 4 decades. 40 years. 4 decades. So they groomed this girl, allegedly. That's grooming. 3, that Penney was at one time pregnant with Ed's child. 4, that Lorraine convinced Penney to get an abortion, that to me is so sad, dude. And this is coming from a pro-abortion guy. That's sad, dude. That's evil shit. And then tried to get Penney to lie about the situation and say that she was raped by an intruder. And 5, that Ed was sometimes physically abusive to Lorraine. That's what I wanted to get into next. Ed supposedly used to smack her around and shit. Penney said that she moved in with Ed and Lorraine Warren when Ed was still working as a city bus driver in Monroe. I don't know, he just looks like a city bus driver with a jacket, his collar popped. Hey, what's up? Got a, ball cap on, He does look like a bus driver. She allegedly lived in a bedroom across the hall from them, and then later in an apartment above them when she got a bit older. I know this sounds gross, but at least they gave her like her own space at least. In 1963, Penney, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make the most out of darkness. Um, Penney was arrested after police received a report about her and Ed Warren. Why was she arrested? During which authorities tried to persuade Penney to sign a state admitting to the affair. When she refused, she was ordered to report to a delinquent youth office for 1 month, which she said Ed Warren drove her to. So, why was she arrested? If she was the one getting technically raped by a pedophile, why would you arrest the victim? That makes zero fucking sense. Like, dude, our law shit system is fucked here in the U.S. now in 2024, but 1970s was really fucked up apparently. Like, oh, you're getting raped by a pedophile? Let's arrest her. Arrest her. You know? What the fuck, dude? Get the rapist, you know, not the victim. I don't know. That's crazy. Then, in May 1978, Penney said she became pregnant with Ed's child while she was in her 30s. So this is like when she's grown up. But Lorraine reportedly worried about a potential scandal. Oh, don't want to ruin their reputations. Got to keep that money coming in for book deals and lectures and seminars. What it could do to their business. Yeah, and the museum. Don't forget about the museum. Don't want to fuck that shit up too. Told Penney to get an abortion, she said. Penney also said that despite portraying themselves as devout Catholics, the Warrens' real God is money. After getting an abortion, Penney said she was told to lie about the circumstances. She said they wanted me to tell everyone that someone had come into my apartment and raped me, and I wouldn't do that. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, but I had an abortion the night they picked me up from the hospital. After having it, they went out and lectured and left me alone. Gotta make the money, baby. You just had an abortion, you know, we should call in, you know. Nothing wrong with calling in for mental health, but we need the money, man. You know? Oh, you're sad? Just chill in your room. We'll see you after the lecture. Mommy and Daddy gotta go to work. That's fucked. But Penney's abuse allegations went even further than her relationship with Ed Warren. According to her, Ed was also an abusive, cruel husband who once backhanded Lorraine so hard that she lost consciousness. No, that was the ghost. Oh, she went into a trance. That's fucked up. I'm not making fun of abuse because I was abused, you know, by my ex-wife and shit. But, apparently, so yeah, he was a woman beater too. Sometimes Ed would actually have to slap her across the face to shut her up, Penney said. Some nights I thought they were going to kill each other. So they were like violent relationship, like I'm sure they were like throwing shit across the room. You could hear them punching and fighting, and these abuse allegations were just one part of the Warrens' controversies. Because as more and more people reevaluated Ed and Lorraine Warren and their stories, the more holes started to show up. So, I didn't really want to get into too much of the hoaxing shit. I just wanted to cover basically on this episode the pedophilia, alleged pedophilia, and the alleged, you know, marital, spousal abuse, physical abuse. That's all I wanted to kind of cover and wrap it up in a nice, neat package for you all. But I told you all I would do an episode on this because we did episodes before on the Warrens, but I wanted to do an episode because the truth needs to get out there. Yes, I do believe personally that they did actual paranormal investigations. I think half of what they say is true. Take everything they say with a grain of salt. I say that with everyone. My personal opinion, I do think that they did have actual paranormal evidence. They've seen shit. They believe this shit. But I do think that the money got to their head, and they started possibly hoaxing shit. And I also, I don't know. I don't know if I believe this. This is all alleged, but I did want to put it out there. I mean, what do they say? Don't meet your heroes. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. Please hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think about all this. Do you believe the allegations? Do you believe that he was an alleged pedophile, slash wife beater? I just figured y'all needed to know the dark truth, because Hollywood ain't gonna teach that to you. Y'all have a good day. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later.